Welcome back for another video. In this series we look at the top players with predicted points to make your transfer plans and captaincy easier. Make data-backed decisions to maximise your chance of success. We also cover all the key talking points, considerations, and we look at the top players by position. We've also included the predicted points for the next 4 game weeks because we don't just want a player to have an immediate impact, we want them to be reliable for us longer term. Let's start with the goalkeepers, and it's a double game week for 5 teams this week with Pickford and Martinez joint top of 7.8 predicted points. If you've got no other pressing transfers, a goalkeeper transfer isn't a bad idea. Ramsdale owners will be disappointed after they failed to keep a clean sheet against 10-man Leeds. Both Everton and Aston Villa have 2 home games for their double, which only adds to their appeal this week. Schmeichel has a tougher double, both games away against Watford and then Chelsea. However, they face Southampton at home in Gameweek 38, which is a good fixture to end the season. Elsewhere, the only other keeper worth consideration is Guaita as a 1-week punt for 4.6 mil. However, he was absent from Palace's squad for the Gameweek 36 fixture with an injury, so it remains to be seen if he's back for this one or not. Palace face Man United in Gameweek 38, so realistically he's only worth considering if he's all you can afford and you have another keeper to play in Gameweek 38. Who do you think's been the best keeper from an FPL perspective this season? Drop a comment below. Onto the defenders, and Villa and Everton defenders dominate the predicted points with Digne top. He was expected to miss the remainder of the season, but he made a surprise return against Norwich in Gameweek 35, where Villa kept a clean sheet, and then against Burnley he picked up an assist. Cash is second with 7.5 predicted points. This season he has 3 goals and 3 assists, and a great punt to consider for the tail end of the season, with only 11.5% ownership. Aston Villa do however face Man City in Gameweek 38, so this is something to consider. As per their predicted points for the final 2 game weeks, the majority of those points come in Gameweek 37. Mikalenko is a player we've discussed before, and he got his first Everton goal in the away win versus Leicester. Everton have started to find some late season form and have got everything to play for, so he's an excellent pick for only 4.9 mil with both a clean sheet and attacking return potential. Trent narrowly makes the list with 5.7 predicted points, and if you're on a free hit it might be worth keeping him in your draft despite the single game week. Liverpool have travelled to Southampton after the FA Cup final, and they need to win their final 2 games and hope that Man City drop points. It's an away double for Crystal Palace, travelling to Aston Villa and then Everton. Anderson makes the list from the Palace defenders with 5.1 predicted points. If you're enjoying this video, please consider subscribing to the channel for future content. Onto the midfielders, and Zaha has 8.1 predicted points this game week, which is top among all midfielders. He scored 13 times this season, including 4 in his last 6, and he's already on 2 more goals than his best scoring season ever. Over the last 4 games he's taken 10 shots in the box, which is second among midfielders, and only Diaz's 11 shots can beat him. If you're chasing rank or a mini league and you need a differential, he's a standout at 6.5% ownership. Gordon for 4.7 mil is another top pick to consider and the perfect enabler. Over the last 4 game weeks he has an expected goal involvement of 2.14. Salah has 7.7 predicted points and certainly a temptation for captaincy despite the single game week. In 9 appearances against them he has 7 goals and 3 assists, and this season Southampton have conceded 3 or more goals 8 times in the league. Gerrard surprised us in the Burnley game by benching Coutinho, and it was Buendia who got his first start since Gameweek 30. Buendia got a goal and an assist versus Burnley, so you'd imagine he continues to get starts and only 1.1% owned. Son has 7.3 predicted points this game week, and he's still in the chase for the golden boot on 20 goals. In the reverse fixture, Spurs lost 1-0 to Burnley and they'll want to get revenge, particularly with top 4 still on the table. Maddison has 6.3 predicted points, who Rodgers confirmed is back for the Norwich game, but he's in a void considering Zaha is priced the same and even Gordon's ahead of him this game week. However, if you've got him, he's certainly a hold. Onto the forwards, and Richarlison is top this game week among all players for predicted points of 9.9. With that in mind, he looks the best captain option this week. Over the last 6 game weeks he has an expected goal involvement of 5.57, which ranks first among all players. Watkins and Ings are pretty much even on predicted points this week on 8.3 and 8.2. They scored in both their appearances before Liverpool, so perhaps Gerrard lines up with them both again. Watkins looks the more assured for minutes between the 2, so he'd be the one to consider if you're looking at Villa. Aston Villa travel to Man City away for the final game of the season, which is one thing to bear in mind, as you'd be surprised to get anything out of them there. That said, there's still the option to hop onto Watkins this week and then move him straight on for another forward like Tony if the rest of your team looks fine. Kane has 7.3 predicted points this game week, which is the same as Son. However, there is some gap between their output in the second half of this season. Vardy is back from injury now, however his last league start came in Gameweek 28, so he's in a void as there's a strong chance he's benched for one or both games this double. Mateta, Weghorst and Jimenez are all a voice this Game Week 2 despite making the list. Mateta was benched in favour of Edouard last Game Week, so his minutes are a big down, as are Weghorst, who's been subbed plenty of times since signing for Burnley. That wraps up today's video, thanks for watching. If you found this video useful, please drop it a like and subscribe to support the channel. I read every comment, so leave one below and I'll be sure to read it.